Major League Show Jumping is back for the 2022 season. We are at Thunderbird Show Park. This is the first time this tour has stopped here, beginning its tour across North America. Today is the day of the CSI 5-star Major League Show Jumping Grand Prix. We're just moments away from the class starting, but first we wanted to dive into a little bit of the detail about what's going to unfold in this exciting class. We're here with Egyptian show jumper Nael Nassar, who himself is riding in this class, but he, behind the scenes, has also created the Jumper app. In between developing horses, you've found time to develop this incredible app. Can you tell us a little bit about the purpose behind this app and what you hope for?
Of course. Thanks for having me, first of all, Tori. So Jumper app was kind of a COVID pet project that we got underway once the show schedule quieted down in 2020. Our main goal was to provide a mobile platform with easily accessible statistics and analytics for show jumping. So that was our main mission statement. There were several pain points that we wanted to solve for the industry in terms of just being able to reach the results you're looking for, get a clear snapshot of a horse and rider's performance, and be able to follow the countless horses and riders and events that are going on around the year. So Jumper was born. It's an iOS app available in the App Store. We launched about 6 months ago, and we're constantly updating it with results, and we hope to have created a nice tool for people to use to get to know the horses and riders a bit better and be able to predict what's highly unpredictable in their show ring.
Well, we're going to try to do just that. Using the Jumper app, we're going to make some predictions with this 5-star lineup, and we're going to jump right in. So we're going to start with a big hitter, Breitling LS, BZ Madden for the USA.
I have a feeling that Breitling hasn't jumped as much as some of these other horses have jumped this year. My app will tell me that pretty quickly. Yeah, so his last show was April 24th down in Wellington. That was his last meter 60 class, and that's actually his only meter 60 class of the year. Before that, he showed up in Calgary in September, so it was clearly coming off some sort of break there. He's maybe a little short of 5-star jumping. If I were to take a guess, I would guess not clear for Breitling this week, but perhaps next week once he's gotten a few more rounds under his belt.
It's good to see BZ back in the show ring, especially
absolutely.
with this incredible horse.
Absolutely, and Breitling is, a seasoned competitor. His statistics are, pretty solid across the board. 51% clear at a meter 60. I really wouldn't bet against him, but just because he's a little short on jumping, I'm going to say he's not going to jump clear. But again, based on his track record, I could be completely wrong.
All right, we'll wait and see. Up next, Pepita Conspita, Hunter Holloway.
That's a really exciting horse right now, a younger horse for the U.S. Hunter Holloway had a brilliant showing with her at the World Cup final. Again, a younger horse, 11 years old, not a ton of meter 60 experience. It's only jumped 10 meter 60 rounds in its career. However, she is coming off of a superb World Cup final. The mare is in great form. She should thrive on this field. I'm going to guess she's going to jump clear on Sunday.
Another veteran of the sport, Gazelle and Kent Farrington joining the Major League team for the first time.
Ooh, Kent Farrington, Gazelle, really superstar combination there. Hard to bet against them as well. However, speaking to Kent a little earlier this season, he's felt like it's taking her a little while to get back into form. She had a little of a break last year. She's an older mare at 16 years old. So he's really used the beginning of this season to just get her back fit, get her jumping fit, and trying to get her in the ring as much as possible. I'm not sure if he's really achieved his goal quite yet, if he feels like she's where she needs to be to jump a clear round on Sunday, but I would probably guess that it's about time for her. She's been knocking on the door for a few rounds right now. She's had a few good four-fault rounds earlier this season, so I'm going to guess she's going to jump clear on Sunday.
Yeah, she's definitely capable. This
Absolutely.
Mare actually boasts a 100% clear round rate at meter 70, so
unreal.
Meter 55 will be no problem
Should
for
be
her,
a walk
and
in the
hopefully
park.
no unlucky rails. Up next, Captain Cooper and Hillary McNerney.
Captain Cooper, Hillary McNerney, another veteran combination. He's a 15-year-old, has jumped all over the world with Kevin Jochems before joining Hillary's team. They have enough 160 experience. They've only jumped 10 rounds together though, so probably on the light side. I'm going to guess that they're not going to jump clear, mainly because their statistics don't point towards that. She only has a 10% clear rate at a meter 60, similar at a meter 55. Not to knock on Hillary at all, but that seems to be a combination that strives a little bit more at meter 50 level. So it's going to be a stretch for them, but we're wishing them all the best.
Kalinka Van Zorgvliet and Carl Cook.
Kalinka is actually a horse I know quite well. I followed her and I know Carl well, so I can speak to her pretty freely. She's been actually unbelievable this year. Carl's been very dedicated and very meticulous in which classes he places her in. He's used Wellington to build her up. She started to jump some of the bigger 150 classes towards the end of the year. She boasts a 73% clear round rate at a meter 50, 80% meter 45, 67% meter 55. So really solid stats from a 12-year-old mare who's really the ideal age for a class like this. I'm going to bet on a clear round for Carl.
Yeah, she's actually only had 3 rounds above meter 55, and she's jumped 2 out of 3 clear. So
exactly.
She boasts a very good percentage.
And everything she's done below
above.
meter 55 has been stellar. So when she does have to step up to that level, it doesn't seem like an effort for her.
And Carl's a speed demon, so
Absolutely.
he's going to go for it if he makes it into the jump off.
Absolutely.
We will have to wait and see if your predictions are correct, but they sound pretty good to me.
Don't quote me on them.
You're wondering if any more of these horses are going to jump clear or not, head to the Jumper app. You can look at their statistics and see how things shake out. Moving on to the next segment, we're going to talk a little bit about dark horses, and not just by color. We're going to talk about the underdogs in this field, a few that maybe haven't shown at this level yet, maybe haven't had their time in the limelight, but the pieces might be coming together now. So who do you think are going to be some of these underdogs that we might see shine this afternoon?
That's a good question. It's always hard to predict the future. I think a couple of the good kind of dark horse picks that maybe some people had forgotten about or just hadn't really thought about. I would go with Jordan Coyle and Arizo. They were the last big Grand Prix winners on Major League and Thermal at the end of last year. They've had relatively quiet winter, a couple nice results here and there. Again, a horse that's pretty exciting to watch. A lot going on, always difficult for Jordan to keep him under control, but man, does he jump. So I think if he's able to reel him around the first round, he's always competitive in the jump off like he was in Thermal. I don't know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, Arizo is an incredible horse to watch. He's super talented. It seems that if something goes wrong, things continue to kind of go wrong. So if he can hold it together for all 13, 14 jumps out there, he's going to be a real top contender.
Absolutely. That'll be fun to watch.
I think I'm going to go with Garant and Cali Shot. This is a horse that is, even though he's young, he's a veteran at this level. He's jumped 58% at meter 55 and above, and for an 11-year-old, that's really incredible. We know that he's going to really take on this course and know what he's doing, and hopefully if Cali can really stay with him and guide him correctly, I think they could really pull off a clear round and surprise some people.
That's a really good pick, actually. Again, probably overlooked mainly because it's a new partnership. Like you said, Garen has all the experience. He's jumped a lot of big classes with BZ before. The question is just going to be how quickly is this partnership going to gel, especially at this high level. So definitely, a pair to watch. Maybe a little soon in their partnership, but they'll definitely be on our radar come Sunday. So another rider I think might be a dark horse candidate is actually a new rider to MLSJ, Nick Delajoyo. I believe he brings forward Cornets Cambridge. Again, a horse that probably most people haven't heard too much about, only a 10-year-old, really splashed onto the Wellington scene with a good win in one of the 3-star Grand Prix towards the end of circuit. Again, they post really good percentages. He's 50% clear at a meter 55, 40% clear at a meter 60. They've only jumped 9 of those rounds together, so not a huge sample size to go off of, but they've shown pretty good form in the last few weeks. They could be one to upset the rest of the field on Sunday.
Definitely. We've talked about the dark horses, the ones that might cause some upsets. Now we're going to talk about the ones that we expect to do well, that are not going to surprise anyone. We're going to pick our top 3, our podium. The Major League Show Jumping Podium is a really special one, and which 3 do we think are going to end up on that podium? All right, I'll kick things off. 3 horses that we have yet to talk about, and 3 really impressive riders, especially on the Major League Show Jumping Tour. All 3 of them were on the tour last year, had a very successful run. First off, Paul O'Shea, he was the leading rider last year after the end of the season. He had some really great wins, some top finishes. He was on the Eye Candy team, which took the Major League Show Jumping title at the end of the year. And I think his mare, Chancelloress, is just really hitting her stride. She is jumping more and more clear rounds. She's really stepped into that top horse position with him. And she boasts a 39% clear round average at meter 55 and above. I think
integrity,
she's one that might have that
caring,
unlucky rail, but she's so careful,
agility,
she's so smart, and she's so fast.
collaboration.
Definitely, if she makes it
Every day, our people go to work delivering inspired solutions, instructors and logistics.
Another top 3 finish in a recent Grand Prix, so she should be in form. That's a good choice.
Another podium pick, Ashley Bond and Donatello 141. This is her top horse. They've also had a couple of kind of unlucky rails recently. I think this horse, she knows inside out. She's had it for so long. Donatello boasts a 54% clear round rate at meter 55 and above. He's extremely careful. He's small, so he is ridiculously fast. It doesn't matter how big the field is. He can really gallop across it, and Ashley is gutsy as all get out. So
definitely, yeah, I think that's a good pick too. Again, Donatello, probably a horse that got a bit of a break after the Tokyo Olympics last year. She used Wellington to kind of get him back up to speed, didn't really jump any massive classes. So I think this is kind of the beginning of his season right now. So it'll be exciting to see him jump his first big class this year. And that's another great pick. That's two good picks. What's your third?
My final pick, the king of Thunderbird this time last year, was Connor Swale. He's actually the winningest show jumper here at Thunderbird. He is campaigning Count Me In this class. This gelding has a 45% clear round rate at meter 55 and above, and Connor has just had, to say the least, an outstanding year. He is now 5th in the world rankings. He has a hard time not winning.
Yeah, that's a great way of describing Connor.
You're surprised.
Yeah, that's a great way of describing Connor.
I mean, he can just crank out the clear rounds. He knows exactly what to do to get all of his horses to jump clear. It doesn't matter who he's sitting on. He just has what it takes to jump a clear round, especially at this level. And he is a speed demon.
Yeah,
so I really think
that's a great pick.
He's going to be a tough one to beat.
That's a great pick. And actually, Count Me In just recently got named the best horse in the world over the last 6 months. So, you know, Connor's running on an incredible hot streak, really. He must have had probably one of the fastest rises in the world ranking list from, you know, below a 100 to the top 10. So, you know, he's just got a great string of horses right now. He's firing on all cylinders. Yeah, that's a great podium pick that you just made. Those are 3 solid options.
All right, well, we'll see how yours fare. What are your top 3 picks?
So I'm gonna try to go and pick, you know, riders that you haven't picked yet, obviously. One of the main ones that I don't see on there and that I've just been really impressed with lately is Kalinka and Carl Cook. Again, you know, a younger mare, but extremely careful, loads of jump, a lot of stride. I've just been really impressed with the way Carl has gradually stepped her up. And I think that this might be, you know, the moment she peaks. So she's going to be one of my podium picks. Another one is Daniel Blumen and Gemma. Again, a very seasoned combination, coming off of a series of podium finishes this year. Again, right at the right age, you know, a partnership that's been together for a long time, you know, coming off of another 3rd place finish over in Europe. So that's another good pick. The third, like you said, the king of Thunderbird, Connor Swale. Hard to bet against him. You know, just coming off of an incredible streak over the last 12 months. Horses all seem to be going just in unbelievable form. Like you said, it's a surprise when he doesn't win or he's not on the podium. So that seems to be at least one safe bet that I've made.
And if you were to pick one of the 3 to win the class at this point, who would you pick?
I'd have to go with Connor.
I think I would too.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, well, we'll see if our mutual pick for the win fares well. This is set to be an incredible class, just moments away from the start of the Grand Prix, which Nael himself is competing in. Nael, we wish you the best of luck, and thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't already, head to the App Store, download the Jumper app so you can stay tuned with all the stats of these horses.
Tori, it was an absolute pleasure. Thanks again for having me. Here we are, moments away, big Grand Prix, first step of the Major League Show Jumping Tour. It should be a good one. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
I'm Danielle Toronto, and we are customers of Marshall and Sterling. They have been amazing for us, for our business. They take care of our farm, our horses, our cars. It's basically one-stop shopping for us.
I'm Jimmy Toronto. Unfortunately, we've actually had to really use Marshall and Sterling for horse deaths, and I have to say that Marshall and Sterling has been an amazing company. They have taken care of things. It's been worry-free. The person we deal with, Missy, she takes it all upon herself. Once we go to her with the claim, she does it all for us. And I have to say, since we've been with Marshall and Sterling, I just can't think of going anywhere else. I put all my trust, all my faith in them.
When every second counts, the surface matters. Premier Equestrian features Pro-Tex footing product and Auto Sport base mats. Mats absorb up to 40% of the concussion. Pro-Tex provides maximum stability. Premier Equestrian is the official footing partner of Major League Show Jumping. Contact us about your arena at premierequestrian.com.
The beauty, power, and elegance of warm blood horses is no accident. A history of carefully crafted breeding practices that walk the delicate line of art and science has created a horse that is as strong as it is graceful, so that it may successfully compete at the most elite level in equine sports. Breeders can access an American Stallion station that provides both fresh chilled and frozen semen options with full transparency on semen quality. Set on 800 acres of Lexington, Kentucky bluegrass, Spy Coast Farm is revolutionizing the breeding practices of warm blood horses. World-renowned stallions with proven bloodlines that have successfully competed at the top level of international Grand Prix sport are collected by a resident veterinarian and processed promptly for shipment to a domestic breeder for a timely insemination of their ovulating mare. The experts at Spy Coast Farm are determined to improve your U.S. breeding options by taking the guesswork out of semen quality. Integrity, caring, agility, collaboration. Every day, our people go to work delivering inspired solutions in structures and logistics, electricity, natural gas, retail energy, and ports and transportation to homes, businesses, and communities around the world. Find out more at atco.com.
Alden Brown is a proud sponsor of Thunderbird Show Park. Through our long-standing partnership with Thunderbird, we have seen firsthand the incredible impact of their events for competitors, spectators, and the community as a whole. At Alden Brown, we invest in our clients' futures and in the communities where our clients and team members live and work. Community involvement is in our firm's DNA. It was part of our founder's vision nearly 100 years ago and remains a core value of Alden Brown today. Our team members are passionate about supporting their communities, and they give back in a variety of ways. As a firm, we are proud to partner with organizations like Thunderbird Show Park that share our commitment to making an impact on our community now and for generations.
Well, a very good afternoon and welcome to Thunderbird for the Canadian premiere And upcoming is going to be our big class of the day. It is the Major League Show Jumping Grand Prix, and with a massive prize money of $214,300 to be exact for this one. It's the biggest individual class of the week as well. So lots to look forward to here. A stellar field once again. Here, thankfully, we've dried up in terms of the weather, and hopefully going to be set fair for the rest of the afternoon. Peter Grant, our course designer, here this week for this Canadian exciting week of competition. 5 stars all the way, and features several of the world's top 10 here this week as well. This beautiful grass arena that will see several weeks of action, with Nations Cup next week as well. But the opening stage of the Major League Show Jumping as well. And this is going to be an exciting one, I know that. But we are underway in a few moments' time. We're going to take a look at the leaderboard of how they're going to start listing this class as well. And it looks like this. Catherine Strauss is going to start us off with Cincinnati Kids 7. Rowan Willis of Australia second to go, with Billy Gilder stepping into their 5-star Grand Prix. Andrew Burns, Sea-Top Blue for Ireland. Grand Prix winner in Wellington earlier on this year. Hayden Moffat and Quintin. Tyler de Jong from the west coast of the US goes 5th. Mexico's Patricio Pascal, following on from a good win a few weeks ago in Mexico City with Babel. Matt Cohn of Canada, Zaya de San Giovanni for the combination that won in Canada last year as part of the Major League Show Jumping 5-star Grand Prix. And then on down to Hunter Holloway and Jordan Coyle. Jordan in great form, having recently won at Old Salem Farm at the Grand Prix there as part of their 2-week extravaganza for that. So that's the first 11 of our lineup. Total that we're going to see in this class of just over 30 in the first round of competition. Traditional format in the sense that it's a first round and then going clear, go into a second round as well. So that's the first few on the list of the 30 that we're going to be seeing in this class. You're going to see the likes of Ken Farrington. You're going to see Niall Nassar a little bit later on, Carl Cook, Ashley Bond. BC Madden in the field goes 17th. And then on down our order until we will come to our 31st in total, which is going to be Bliss Hears and Antidote de Mars. So we are setting up for what's coming up for going to be a big afternoon of sport. And let's say it's big prize money indeed, over $200,000 in the class here. And we're going to have a look at the track in a few moments as well. With, of course, Peter Grant, our course designer. 87 seconds, the time allowed with this. And we'll see them over a total of 13 fences. Some tricky distances in here, the last line especially as well. Just sitting on a little half distance down to the final BFL Canada fence as the last on course 2. And that will certainly test them out. Triple combination coming up at 8. And again, quite a few forward strides needing on the course here at 8 ABC. Just see C is the element on the lower part of your screen there. And that on the 1 stride distance, but just going to have to be moving through there. And that will take them through to 9 and 10, where a balanced result is needed between 9 and the Oxford at 10 to keep them on a clean sheet. 11 riding past the in-gate. And then 12A and B comes up, and again lies a little bit shorter coming into the double there, Major League double, and then that final fence to say you're going to have to little play with the distance there for how they come out of that. And our anthem going to be coming up in just a few moments' time for those in the arena. And looking forward to competition unfolding here for this. But we're going to make way for the singing of the national anthem.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, as we turn our attention towards field level, we ask that you please rise if you are able as we welcome Alyssa Fisher for the singing of the Canadian National Anthem.
Oh, Canada, our land, patriot love in all us. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land
Well, wonderfully put together, and as the maple leaf flies across the arena, we're breezing in and ready for our first coming up in today's Major League Show Jumping Grand Prix.
From West Coast Thunder for presenting the colors here today, and as well a big thank you to Alyssa Fisher for joining us on the mic for the anthems. And now the course is set, the competitors are ready. There is but one thing left to do. It's time to jump some fences here at the CSI 5-star T-Bird MSL SJ Grand Prix.
Well, first we're making their way up here into the arena, and this is going to be a terrific afternoon of sport. Looking forward to this, and it is going to be a big test with some big contenders here. Some new contenders, new faces on the Major League Tour as well, and we're going to see a few of those. This is a great opportunity for a number of those under 25 riders, developing horses as well, to also come into the top flight this very first time. Peter Grant and his team down in the arena. Reminder, time allowed of 87 seconds around the track here. 13 fences. So first one coming up, and it's going to be Catherine Strauss and Cincinnati Kid 7. And this is going to be our first in the lineup. And Catherine with this 10-year-old Holsteiner by Clarimo stepping into the Grand Prix here. She's had some great experience as a national rider, rides with the Madden stable as well with John and Beasy. And this year, a great step up for her, which is going to be good to see. Had a hugely successful run through her youth career, through the equitation as well, and now into the big leagues too as part of this Major League Show Jumping. Past gold medalist in the young riders. Cincinnati Kids having jumped a number of the 2 and 3 stars so far. This, I think, their first time into the 5 stars as well. Jumped the U25s earlier on this season, as well as part of the series that runs in Wellington, Florida. Good finishes in the likes of Tryon before now too, and first time into these Major League 5-star shows for Catherine. So let's take you around the course set by Peter Grant this afternoon. Head down near the jury box to start off over the Cabana Coast. Oxer as the first. Glad to see the sunshine has peeked its way out now. Second fence at 152. Quite a long distance between 1 and 2. Multicoloured vertical there. Fence 3. This is where things get interesting. Maui Jim Triple Bar. They're going to have to do a little bit of work here to see whether they get to the 5 or the 6 strides to the vertical after that, the Calladay vertical. Again, long run at the top end of the arena to the Major League Oxer. That at 165 in spread. And then turning back to the Thunderbird wall. Again, a few options here depending on how they land. Both of those at 1.60 m. 4 or the 5 depending on how they're landing for that wall. Triple combination there, and as I mentioned a little bit earlier on, 2 strides and 1, but got to keep going forward. Peter Grant's courses tend to be fairly forward riding. Oxer there at 10 at 1.65 m. Roll back here then to the next ox throw on course at 11. 150, 160 in spread. And then this double, the Major League double, can come up quite short at 785 in terms of meters. And then here, a little bit of a half stride to the last, but handled very well by our first to go. 87.11. Just touches over the time allowed, just onto the one-time fault for Catherine Strauss. Neatly executed in one of the biggest tracks that she's jumped, and set for her just on the one time. We'll see. It could be assessed. I think it might well stay with as it is in terms of the time allowed, but we will see. Our judges can monitor that as we go through our first 3 riders. Rowan Willis of Australia, and Rowan with Billy Gilder. Again, this is one of the bigger tracks that this horse has jumped, been stepped up into this class now. 13-year-old by Billy Congo. Billy Congo is a horse that was ridden by William Fuller of Great Britain to a European Gold, part of their big breeding operation for the Billy Stud back in the UK. Rowan, who rode Blue Movie to an individual top dozen finish at the World Championships last time around. He finished well in Kentucky recently with that horse as well. Billy Gilder getting the opportunity here this time to step into the big leagues. Jumped in at the 4 stars over the last few months. Tail end of 2021 at Fort Worth and then in Ocala. Through the triple combination well now. Catherine Strauss gave us the opening salvo, jumping well round here. And just touches that front bar, and again, that line, just playing with them a little bit. A very balanced stride needing down there. He said, when I talked to Peter Grant about it, it was a pretty delicate line. Through this double easily enough. On the 9 strides to the last, time-wise as well, is going to be over 88 seconds. Going to be on the 4 for Billy Gilder, 87.73 to be exact, and just puts them on the 1 time. So that's 5 for Rowan Willis and Billy Gilder. Getting close, getting closer, but not quite to be so far. Andrew Burns now, and C-Top Blue, Andrew the Irish rider, with this 11-year-old now Irish bred by Chaco Blue out of C-Top Lady. Now Andrew, 4-star Grand Prix winner earlier on this year in the NetJets Grand Prix at Wellington as well, down in Florida. Part of the teams last year as well for Major League Jumping. And this horse that just kept developing and developing. Skips down the line there on the 5. Again, they just want to be getting forward down there. May see what someone take a hold and try and squeeze the 6. We'll see. Pops on the 4 down there. Little touch at the top of the plank. A little bit deceiving if you walk down to that fence, because the black plank on top, and just as they get forward into that line, just dragging off the front bar of the triple. Again, Peter very good at getting you going forward, but of course every time you're going forward you're stretching out, you're losing a little bit of that jump, and it's up to you to try and keep that control all the way. Andrew just trying to make a move out to the Kubota fence. Just means they get into the top bar of it, I'm afraid. Clears the last all right, but time-wise is going to be very different at 81.19. Kept moving there, and of course he was aware of time by this point. Leaves him on a score of 8 for Andrew Burns' C-Top Blue. So we had that one Time fault early on from Catherine Strauss. Rowan Willis on the 5. Andrew Bournes on the 8 so far. Hyde Moffat now. Quintin for the Canadian rider. Quintin owned by Ariel Grange on this 12-year-old Dutch-bred horse now by Caprice Bois Margot. And for him, a regular on the Canadian shows, of course, on home ground too, whether here or at Spruce Meadows. Competing like many down in Florida in the early part of the year. Originally from Brantford, Ontario. Riding with the Lothlorien team, of course. Quintin jumping into the few of the 5 stars earlier on this year as well in Florida. They should be set and ready to go to tackle this. Just coming on quite a tight turn back to this wall. Yeah, I was trying to just get them back together. They took a little bit of a nose landing after the wall, just getting back together, but just didn't quite find the jump over the plank. Landing them quite steeply down afterwards. So on the 4 at the moment. Get square to the Kubota Oxa. Again, giving them quite a bit of space to get to these final few fences. There we go. Again, you just got to play with the distance, but the danger is the time. 85.59, seeing a different complexion on the time now with the 4 faults there from Hyde Moffat. Gets easily inside the time as well, but unfortunately taking the 1 fence with them. There at the Premier Equestrian Oxa, just letting the horse pick up underneath him.
Next we welcome Tally DeYoung of the United States, rider and owner of number 1078.
West Coast rider Tally DeYoung now. Again, this one of the biggest tracks she will have jumped. Tally, one of the younger riders in the field at 22 years of age. Competed down in Thermal, of course, in the early part of the year. Actually had a stint in Spain last year as well. She was part of the Nations Cup squad for the US, heading to the Young Rider Nations Cups final. And that was in the Netherlands. Ooh, it gets deep and therefore high into that first part. Just means she has to take a pull away, a roll away from that vertical, at the Caladay vertical. They were going to be direct in the timber otherwise. Rolls back, gets the shot they want this time. So this is probably going to be the, well, it will be the biggest track this pair have jumped. Handles that well. So they've got to be a little bit forward into here. Yes. Yes. No. Just was not seeing it come up there, and so decided to take a slide to the side. And retiring there, Tally DeYoung and Heavenly Star. Like I say, one of the biggest tracks they've jumped. It's a little bit of experience for them at this point, but again, you need to just be getting in there, and they'll get those miles on the clock, and it'll be fine in the long term. But unfortunately, just have to take a couple of pulls away out on course. So that is going to be a retirement for them, and with Catherine Strauss, the best score at the moment so far on the one-time fault at 87.11. Patricio Pascal to show the way now. Rider with great experience indeed, having been a championship rider for Mexico on a number of occasions now, right through to the top level, of course, in the major championships, world championships in 2018. Pan Am Games. He was silver medalist there in 2019 as well. Won several classes in the last few weeks down in Mexico on their top team in Jalapa back into March as well. And setting themselves up ready for a good assault on the Canadian tour of shows as they've headed up here from Mexico. Long trip up from Mexico, of course, for the horses, but with various layoffs and then rest and ready for the shows here at T-Bird and then on to Spruce Meadows as well. It's a nice forward four motion going okay to the Thunderbird plank. Forward all the way here, which is working for them. Just has to put even a little bit more on coming down that line. Now it's about keeping the control again, with the time allowed being a little bit tighter for some. He's coming quite quickly down this line. His time is not going to be a problem at all. What he's got to do is leave the last, and he will. So 80.58 flying around there without any trouble at all. It is going to be the first of clears, and it'll go in the direction of Mexico. Patricia Pascal and Babel give us clear round number one of this $214,300. Let's get all the cash in there. 5-star Grand Prix as part of Major League here at T-Bird. So clear round number one. They've shown them the way. It's all possible. Quick round for them. Gives a little indicator too of how quick this pair might be in that jump off as well. Matt Cohn coming into view. Olympic rider for Canada. Zaya de San Giovanni, Grand Prix winners at Angelstone last year. Silver medal in 2008. And that was in Beijing, of course, the Olympics there. He's got a long string of championship experiences through to World Championships as well. Pan Am medalist. So winner back in August last year. Just comes up low over that first vertical. Gets over the second one without too much trouble. Now the others having shown that they can get round here inside the time okay. We've got that one-time fault from Catherine Strauss, but now with a clear on the board, we'll go into the best of the rest. It's got to be very conscious how they land over that Thunderbird wall. Now again, just keep moving forward. Through that distance all right. Option of 5 or 6 really down that line from 9 to 10, depending how they want to play it. Steadying right off now. Picks up the revs once again. Just on the 4, might pick up a little bit of time here as well. And there we go, it's 87.93, so it's going to be 1 for time too, so a total of 5 for Matt Cohn and Zaya de San Giovanni. Nice rhythm through the triple combination. So leaving back on a score of 5. Rowan Willis also on a score of 5, making it 4th and 5th so far.
For the United States, Double H farm owned HH Zorro Z.
Quentin Judge and HH Zorro Z for the Double H farm. 9-year-old by Zorocco Blue. The rider originally learnt the art of riding at the age of 13 in Chicago. With Zorro Z just on the back of those international shows at Old Salem. Comes in here, of course, like many, on the back of a busy Wellington season. Of course, it was originally produced way back into Belgium. Finished one in the Young Horse Championships. Getting more and more experience at this point again. Probably second 5-star. They also competed in Columbus, Ohio in the shows there last year, and of course in Traverse City in the 5-star there at the American Gold Cup last season. On the 4 at the moment. Sunshine has decided to join us. Tritio Pascal, the only clear so far, getting set up for this Kubota fence. Coming quietly down to this double, like we say, can get a little bit short in there. And picks up the revs to the last. Going to be just inside that time at 84.67 on the 4 for Quentin Judge and HH Zorro Z, the 9-year-old. So 1 clear at the moment.
Stands for our next entry in Hunter Holloway and Pepita Conspita going next, entry number 894.
Hunter Holloway set to come into view. There she is. Recently back from the World Cup finals in Leipzig. Competing there for the very first time. Finished in 16th with Pepita Conspita in the end. And also been following that series through. Finished well in a number of the World Cups there. Picked up a nice win too in the side classes at Fort Worth, Texas, and Grand Prix wins in Tryon last season as well. And particularly well in Las Vegas too, as part of that World Cup series as well. Having picked up the #1 spot there. With the experience for the Hayes Investment Corporation, this 11-year-old Westphalian. Looking to find the balance here, just quiet to this major league fence. Just playing around a little bit as they come to the wall. Big leap in there, unfortunately left the back legs there, gets a little bit excited down that line, takes the plank with them. So Brick and the plank will take them to a score of 8 so far for Hunter Holloway. Little touch on the back bar of the Premier Equestrian fence. Not proving quite so easy when we saw some early combinations going, feeling that they might get the key to this very swiftly. It's not been quite as easy as that. Cruising for home. Just going to get inside the time, I think. 85.65 on a score of 8 for Hunter Holloway and her Vegas winning combination Pepita Conspita. So still leaving us at the 1 clear round so far. Patricio Pascal and Babel. And will leave us on to Jordan Coyle. Jordan, 5-star Grand Prix winner on the Major League Jumping last year. That was at the Desert Horse Park. And today with Ariso, recently putting a win together too at Old Salem. Riding for the Alan Farm once again of New Jersey. The 11-year-old Swedish-bred ride by Casal on this 11-year-old stallion for the Irishman. And alongside me is Sam Walker, who's been having a little look at the course. The young, talented 20-year-old Canadian. Sam, sitting things out today. Got a lovely group of young horses coming through as well. Sam, we're going to have a look at with the riders on course here. You've just been having a little course walk around. Let's pick up with the wall and how you see this being ridden.
Well, you know, this wall comes off a short right turn at the far end of the ring. The big T-Bird logo, obviously it looks very cool, but sometimes the horses can get a little bit spooky. After the Major League Oxer, you know, you turn back, jump the wall, and then the line to the plank is very delicate. You know, you want to get the plank with a little bit of space so the horse has time to get the front legs out of the way. Following that, obviously you go down the triple combination. Hasn't posed to be so much of an issue so far. It's kind of up against the railing, but the horses by that point in the course are usually pretty focused. So,
Jordan, we can see here just getting to this Kubota fence. I was saying this, let's see him through the double here. It gets a little bit short in here, and again, he's just having to take some of the pace off there.
yeah, you know, this is a very, very scopy horse, and so he did a good job slowing down and letting the horse jump up.
Final fence for them, and he's going to give us the second of the clears there by the looks of it. And clear round number 2 going to Jordan Coyle and Ariso as we see them through that double there, Sam. And that final fence. The final fence, that little line down there from the double to this last vertical. What's your thinking on that? I know I talked to Peter Grant about that.
Yeah, I think, you know, the last double, it rides quite careful. The vertical in is set at the maximum spec, so you have to jump in careful and then really squeeze at B for the back rail. And the last vertical, you know, jump number 13, it looks to be set as well at 1.60 m. So you really want to give the horses just a little bit of space so they have time to jump up and over. You know, you really don't want to jam them. It's late in the course, and usually they'll be what I like to call on the muscle or on the move by the end. So you sort of have to hold them off, let the front legs clear, the back legs clear, and kick for the timers.
Caelan Campbell then, and Feon as our next to go for the US. The 12-year-old Dutch-bred ride by Zazu R. As Caitlin, a strong feature of Major League jumping last year as well. Of course, also with Paulina de Lescaut that went very well in the World Cup shows too. Early on, we've seen 2 clears now. Do you think they're starting to find the key to this?
Yeah, you know, I think after walking the course, it's set pretty similar to how we've seen other Major League Grand Prix set. I think that the top horse and rider combinations usually, you know, come through in this course, in this class on Sunday. I don't know if we found the key yet, but for sure you need to start with a good pace.
Caelan here, good pace through this triple combination. You need to be a bit forward through there.
Yeah, I mean, to me, you need to be up to pace everywhere. There's nowhere in this course other than the last line that you really need to slow down. You know, the course designer has used the whole entire ring today, you know, from front to back. So I think this is a galloping course, and also if you're on the gallop, it helps with the time allowed.
We saw there having a couple of fences down into that distance. Again, as she just starts to get a little forward going into that distance, that catches up with you on that vertical of the Oxer.
Yeah, certainly. You know, there's a happy medium between obviously on the gallop and on the move, and a nice strong canter. And you know, it's very this is supposed to be the hardest class of the week. So sometimes it'll go your way and sometimes it won't.
Didn't quite go their way this time. Finishing on a score of 16. They're 85-98. For Caitlin, just pushing off that Major League fence there. And again, you know, it feels like, you know, for someone sitting on the outside here that doesn't know the sport would say, wait, they've got a great big field, they've got loads of space. Why can't you get to that fence, you know, easily and just put it on the spot?
Well, if only it was that easy.
Exactly. Explain to me why it's not that easy.
Oh, I'm not sure I can do that.
It is not that easy. That's the thing. Nick Delajoyo could well make it look easy with this combination. Cornet's Cambridge winners in Florida. Earlier on this year in some big classes there, and certainly coming on good form here for the Berry Group. The 10-year-old by Balou de Raventon were from the breeding of Cambridge. Those first couple of fences as well, you don't want to lose any pace here, and then this triple here. It's a little bit depending on what you're riding on and how you ride that, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I think that Nick did a great job of, you know, keep being up to pace for the first fence. You know, you don't see him have many time faults. He's always on the move. So it was nice to see that he jumped 1, 2, 3, 4, and there wasn't a big move up anywhere. You know, he was on it from the first jump and was able to maintain that all the way through until this moment.
Well, still up and on it through the triple combination. Just a little touch on the way out there. Through this.
You know, this is what I'm talking about. You can see he's maintaining the gallop the whole entire way around, so he's also knock on wood, he's not going to have an issue with time allowed.
Yeah, Nick looking good for time at the moment. Just got to keep this final line together. Gets a big jump out on the way out, but he's got a little bit of space to balance things back up again.
Yeah, come on, Nick.
There you go.
Great round.
Very good round, 82-82. Following on with their very good form so far. Little touch at the plank there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're allowed to touch them, just not knock them down. So that doesn't matter. But he, that was a great round. Nick's had some success, obviously, with this horse already, and I think this will definitely be one to watch in the jump off, as they're a fast pair. They can really turn up the heat.
It is 3 clears now. It is Patricio Pascal, it is Jordan Coyle, and it is Nick Della Joyo to give us the third of the lineup for now. Mexico again, Manuel Gonzalez Dufresne and Hortensia van de Lieverk as our next for Manuel, who's also been competing in Mexico over the last few months. Finished well in Mexico City, also part of the squad for the Mexican team in Jalapa back in March. Winner of the World Cup in Puebla back in February too, so also comes in on some good form. But again, another step up for this combination. 5-star with the Nations Cup back in March for them, but it's 2 and 3 stars otherwise. And again, that's not so easy all the time, is it, Sam, to be going up and down those levels. If you can be hitting those 5 stars on a regular basis, it keeps you in a rhythm.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I took a break this Wellington. I didn't show so many international shows, so to come back and be able to jump this 5-star is sort of my first one back in a few months, and it feels great. It's nice that the horses came out and jumped well, and for all of us, I think that we're all coming off of a bit of a break, whether it be 3 weeks or even 3 months. To see the horses come out and be so fresh and on it, and at the beginning of the season, it's really nice to see.
Manuel coming down to this triple combination, still clear at the moment.
This
just drops that.
Yeah, this is a very experienced pair too. I mean, it's too bad about that rail at 8B, but they've had double clear in Nations Cup, 5-star, 4-star, everything. I mean, the rider knows the horse, and the horse knows the rider.
Steps through that double on the way home. Just going to be on the 4 faults, hopefully, and the last fence stays in place. Finish on the 485.59. Manuel Gonzalez Dufresne here at the wall, Sam. Just how to handle it can just get a little bit short if you're not careful.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can watch through the double here. The horse just has to back up a bit, and they didn't quite show it. So I think, that's a very careful horse. Just backed up a bit in the double, so didn't have quite the scope to get over B clear, but there's no doubt that pair will produce many more clear rounds in the future.
Absolutely, looking forward to seeing more of that. Hilary McNerney, Captain Cooper, good experienced horse for her. 15-year-old Dutch bred by Nameless R in the breeding of Corlands for Hilary from Wellington, Florida. Trains with Kent Farrington. 3 clears now with Nick Della Joyo, with Jordan Coyle, and of course with Patricio Pascal as well. So Sam, like I say, you're going to be sitting on the sidelines this week. We're going to see you in action over the next few weeks. You've got some new horses coming through, which is good. We'll talk about those in a few moments' time, but what was your thinking when you walked through the track over these first few fences? Talk us through what you just talked through on Instagram. I know there's a detailed run through there as well from you.
Yeah, for sure. I said jump 1 and 2 are a little bit... to me, they kind of put you to sleep. You canter down to jump 1. It's a nice, easy, rampy oxer. It's probably 145, 150 on the back rail. So the horses are not awake yet. You jump 2. That's not a very big vertical, and then the triple bar is in your face. So you all of a sudden your horse has gone from it being 1.50 m to now it's full size, serious. So you jump the triple bar. Then you need to get, you need to get up that 5 because they could land a little bit shallow. And then you get over to the oxer here. It's a nice oxer, and then this is where it really starts to. I sort of thought that the plank was going to be the bogey jump, and it's come down quite a few times today. You turn back, the wall is spooky. They land a little bit shallow, and then you have to start kicking, and the last thing you want to be is flat to a plank on, you know, flat cups. It's very, very shallow. So then all of a sudden it goes from a nice 155 to boom, it's, you know, it's 160 in your face.
And here it is coming to the last fence. Here McNerney has handled it well, finishing on just the 4. So just the plank for her, 83.73, like you said. But she was really pulling back coming into this vertical.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those jumps. That's kind of the one that I thought that was going to come down. You could breathe on it and it would fall over. I mean, when I go and walk the course, I like to sort of look at the jumps up close and see really how much give they have, I'll call it. And the plank is hard today.
Yeah.
It's very difficult, especially coming off of a wall where they can get a little bit careful, and you never really know what's going to happen. So, you know, that was a great round by Hillary. She should be very happy with that.
Alberto Michan now, and with Nabal de Trevera. This for the 12-year-old by Nabab de Rev also. Produced in Spain originally. Abby with great experience. 2 Olympic Games behind him as well. In London, in Hong Kong, multiple World Championships, and this player as well competing in through Nations Cup down in Wellington back in March, and then the last few weeks getting back up to speed in Lexington, Kentucky. But you know, again, Alberto's just such a good rider to watch, and he's got that experience of championship riding. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, I love Abby. He's the best. This horse seems to be jumping really, really well today. He's always has young horses that he's building up as well, so I think this one has, you know, sort of come through with him and is starting to shine through as possibly even his best horse. I mean, it's very exciting to watch riders with partnerships that are, you know, super experienced partnerships that they've had the horses for a long time, or even, you know, maybe new partnerships. And I think that Abby's just such a good rider because he can ride any horse. He looks just as comfortable on a horse that he's never ridden as, you know, one that he's had for many years.
Looks well in control here. Just got a bit high coming out of there.
Yeah, you know, that could be a little bit. I'm not sure how old this horse is, but it could be a little bit of.
He's 12.
12 years old. So again, these classes, even for horses that are, you know, 12 or 13 years old, they still get careful. At the end of the day, a good horse is very careful, and I think honestly that was just a little bit of a mistake on the horse's part. Came in nicely through the vertical and just got a little bit high coming out. You know, that's, you can't
just hung in the air a little bit.
Yeah, you can't really fault the horse for that. I mean, it'll happen. That's why not everybody goes clear.
Yeah. So there they go, out on just the 4 faults there for Alberto Michan. And the combination there, Nabal de Trevera, as we say, one to watch out for. And one we've seen on plenty of occasions is great to see here too, is Beezy Madden. Beezy with Abigail Wexner's Breitling LS, this World Cup winning combination. Beezy with, well, we could start talking Olympic Games. She's a double Olympic gold medalist, 4 times at the Olympics, World Championship medalist. Multiple World Cup wins, of course, with Simon back in 2013 and Breitling LS in 2018 as well. And on the stallion by Quintero, quite a few horses now coming out that are by this stallion as well, which is really interesting to see, and good to see Beezy in action. Just jumped quietly through Wellington this year and is now moving back into the 5-star levels with this one, and we'll see whether we get a masterclass this afternoon how to ride this one, Sam.
Yeah, I think that anytime you watch Beezy, it's sort of like a riding lesson. I mean, if I could ride halfway as good by the end of my career, I would be happy. So, you know, this is definitely, obviously, there's no shortage of experience, and it's really great to see this pair in the ring at the highest level of the sport again.
Let's see them through the wall here. We just over that, I mean, she just looks so balanced down there.
Yeah, you see, that's how it's supposed to be ridden. You get right to the base of the wall, the horse makes a nice jump over, and then she's able to move up and then set the horse back for the plank. You know, that's I couldn't have done it any better.
That's how to do it.
It's how to do it, exactly. Yeah, and as you can see, you know, she makes sure that at the base of the oxer, the horse has a lot of power, so he can jump up, and it makes it a lot easier for the horse, actually. It's just, you watch these two go around, and it looks like a schooling class.
And again, it's having that experience of time and all the things like that. I mean, she's going to be okay for time coming down here, as you would expect. Beezy, just with the 1 fence left.
Yeah.
That's how to do it.
There's quite literally nothing you can do better. If there was a perfect round in this class, I'd say that's going to be it.
Yeah. Well, it gives us the fourth of clears. Beezyman and Breitling LS well within their comfort zone there, producing the fourth of the clears so far. So lovely to see them. Breitling LS and Beezy alongside Nick de la Joya, Cornets Cambridge, Jordan Coyle and Ariso, and Patrizia Pascal and Babel in the jump off so far for this Grand Prix this afternoon. Already swiftly underway is going to be Juan Ortiz for the Blue Trim LLC. Kinky Boy, Van Het Gildenhoff, the 12-year-old by Nabab Dorev. And this is a newer partnership this season as well. Spent a little time with McLean Ward too.
Yeah, for sure. You know, actually Juan is on my team for the Major League, the Show Plus Northern Lights. And it's so fun to have him. You know, he's such a good rider, and he does obviously have a lot of experience behind him as well. A good friend of mine, actually, and it's really great to have him back in Canada.
Yeah, good to see him here. World Championship rider, Pan Am's previously too. And again, been just rebuilding X3. Down that line, just struggling on the last part there to get out, just started to run out of space.
Yeah, I actually think this horse is naturally quite a careful horse. You know, he's really trying to leave the jumps up, and you just saw through the triple combination. I think a bit of that inexperience with the partnership, you know, that'll catch you. But Juan's giving him a really good ride, a solid ride here, and you know, just making sure that he comes home nice and safely. There you go, and comes over the last, finishes on a good note. I think that he should be happy with that. You know, sometimes I like to say that the score sometimes doesn't reflect the round.
Yep, agree.
So I think he gave the horse a good, confident ride. I'm not sure how many 5-star Grand Prix these two have done together, so it's really nice to...
Not much.
Exactly, so it's nice to see that, you know, at the end of the day, the horse was going to come out maybe even next week, jump the Grand Prix, and he'll have that, at least know what to expect and have that experience under his belt.
Well, lots more to come for them. Carl Cook and Kalinka van Zorgvliet, as we heard a little bit before this class with the jumper team, with Niall. Horse with 73% clear rate, and has certainly been bringing those good rounds together. A lot of clears coming in Wellington, Florida this year for them. In fact, just a quick look around, I think they dropped one rail in the whole time they were there. Competed through some of the 5-stars, 4-stars as well. Yeah, this could be an exciting horse for the Californian rider.
Yeah, definitely an exciting horse, and you know, Carl knows how to give them a good, confident ride. He's very experienced. He's got lots of Grand Prix wins under his belt, so to see this one coming out, I think it's sort of obviously not a new partnership, but a newer partnership at this level maybe.
Yeah.
For them to come out here and jump the big class. He usually has his wonderful gray horse Caillou, and as that one we all know so well, so it's nice to see him on this this new mount at this level.
At this level, as you say, been together since 2019, former rider of Lorenzo De Luca and Jona Ekberg from the Stefek stables at that time.
Yeah, of course, and like I said, you know, some horses, I mean, I can tell you personally, I have my speed horse, she steps right up when I need her as well, so it's very cool. Hopefully, it's too bad, really too bad there. It's working on such a great round.
Just that one fence coming down there. In that double we talked about, it can get a little bit short. Just a big jump in.
Yeah, I think the horse just maybe jumped a little bit long, jumped the vertical, and didn't leave quite. You can see didn't leave not quite enough room at the oxer. That'll happen sometimes with super careful horses. You know, this one obviously, like you said, only one rail for the whole circuit of Wellington. That's impressive on its own. So for this one to come out today, just got a little bit. I think he jumped clear maybe in the qualifier on Thursday there, or on Friday, pardon me. And you know, just barely having that rail there. That's too bad. I'm sure Carl's going to be upset about that.
And this is Ashley Bond, Caroline of Bullmore, talking of the Wellington circuit. Finished it with the finale Grand Prix, the Rolex Grand Prix, with this horse, Caroline of Bullmore, the 12-year-old by Diorado for the Gladewinds partners it is now, and Ashley Bond winning there. We talked about new partnership. It was about the third round they'd ever ridden. Went round, won the Grand Prix, flew round for that. quite happy, and has now very much stepped into the top of her string.
Yeah, you know, it's not often that you get a horse and you go immediately, you jump a 5-star Grand Prix after only having the horse for so long, and you end up winning the biggest Grand Prix at WEF, so, and one of the biggest Grand Prix of the year, which is pretty amazing. It's too bad about the plank right there again.
It wasn't much of a touch there, to be honest.
No, like I said earlier, it's a feather up there. You can breathe on it and it'll fall down. So I think, you know, the horse maybe just might have barely nicked it, and any other rail out here, that would have been a light rub, but unfortunately that plank comes down so easily.
Ashley, highly competitive, as we've seen already today, into the winning round. 5-star Grand Prix winner last year on Major League as well. That was in San Miguel. Just drops that back rail there too. Now it's interesting. I don't think I've seen anybody have that last fence down. When I talked to the course designer about that final line, he was like, well, you know, they're going to have to play with that one a little bit. They seem to have got that one well handled.
Yeah, I mean, the majority of these riders in this class, they're very experienced, and they've all jumped big jumps plenty times, and a very tall vertical at the end of the course, to me, it can be difficult, yes, but I find it a little bit easier because you can actually hold the horse off, make a little bit of room, and if they're already jumping well by that point, chances are they have a good chance of clearing it. You know, I find with an oxer, at the end of the course, the horse is starting to get fatigued, the rider's starting to get fatigued, and if you don't put them just perfectly, that's why you see a lot of oxers, final oxers falling, and this vertical hasn't come down one time today because the horses, they know what they're doing at this point, and the riders just have to sit up, hold them off of it, and they can jump up and over.
I'll come back to that in a second. Ben Aslin and Luke and Q on course at the moment, the Canadian. But again, in what you're talking about there, this is why riders, I look at yourself, I look at everybody that's, you know, the majority around here now spend so much time in the gym as well, because that's where it pays off when you're at the end of a track there and you're going, I need to dig deep, I need that, you know, I need the core strength, I need all the things that I need as an athlete to be able to hold that together.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's difficult. By the end of the course, your horse is tired, but the rider is also tired. So you can imagine that the you know, the fatigue starts to get in. Your legs, you're not able to squeeze as hard, and your arms, you're not able to pull as hard. So it does get difficult at the end, and it takes a lot of cardio, and it takes a lot of stamina to keep going throughout the rest of the course.
Ben just dropping that Kubota fence there. Was going well otherwise around here, and it's just going to look as though they might come here on the 4 here, Sam. Yeah.
Yeah, and as you can see, I mean, you saw the Kubota come down. He was able to pull the horse back together, jump a nice double, and then same thing to the last. Just hold the horse up. The horse comes, the balance goes underneath, and then they jump up and over.
Well, just leaving them on the 4 faults for Ben Aslin. It is the 4 clears so far. BC Mann, Nick De La Joyo, Jordan Coyle and Patricio Pascal at the moment. Ben there going into 7th place. Carl Cook is in 6th place on the 4 faults at this point. Lady who loves competing here is Vanessa Mannix. Finished 2nd in the World Cup qualifier here last year. She won a Grand Prix here last season as well. She's had plenty of wins in this fort arena here at Thunderbird. Riding on is Vanessa Mannix and Kingston. Now, going to be an interesting one for her. It's a new horse this season. Again, biggest track these pair have jumped. They jumped a 3-star a few weeks ago at the Invitational in Kentucky. Haven't been through to 5 stars. Horse that was produced with Harold McGahey in Ireland. But I mean, what we saw earlier on this week, the two of them seem very, very much at home with each other, which is good to see.
Yeah, rather new partnership, but you know, obviously this horse, Vanessa, she's a great rider, another one of my teammates, and this horse is showing to be quite a superstar. Obviously, she has her wonderful Katinka 25, which she's had for quite some time and had lots of success, and it's nice to see that this horse here is stepping up to the 5-star Grand Prix level and can really complement Katinka. You know, it's why it's a string of horses and not single horses. So it's great here. Obviously, she has a wonderful coach in Connor Swale, and just such a great team behind her.
Yeah, looking very much at home, this combination into the big tracks. Time-wise should be okay. Now, she was really holding down that line.
Yeah, she was holding and came in maybe a little bit slow, but this horse has just, you know, an abnormal amount of scope. I mean, what an athlete. Not only the rider, but the horse. You see he holds a little bit into the double, and then just a little bit of leg is all it takes to get out over that wide oxer.
Well, there we go. And to whoops and hollers.
Of course, it's Canadian. Good fist bump there.
Exactly. Vanessa Mannix and Kingston Delight. I said she enjoys competing here. And there we go. Puts her into the jump-off as well for this Thunderbird 5-star Grand Prix here this afternoon. So Vanessa Mannix in the reckoning as well. Eugenio Garza and Victor Finn DHZ, part of the winning team yesterday for Team Helios for the Major League Jumping. And for this pair, again, this is a horse that then came out at the latter part of Wellington earlier on this year and has really found themselves back in their stride again. He himself a medalist at Pan Am's before now, multiple wins as part of the Nations Cup for Mexico, to rode the winning round on Major League for his team last year into one of those stages as well. So he's certainly got the accolades around it, but this pair really have settled back into the big time.
Yeah, certainly. You know, they're such a good pair, and again, been together for so long. Such a nice partnership that they've got worked out here. It's nice to see Eugenio here. He's having a good round so far. Fingers crossed. He's a good friend of mine, so it'd be nice to see a clear round. She gets nice and careful through the triple combination there. That was very, very smart, fancy footwork.
Not quite so fancy over that. Didn't quite see what happened there.
Yeah, I couldn't really see from that angle. The horse otherwise looks like he's just been jumping a great round so far.
Interesting. He just moved out there on the line to give himself a bit of space into this double.
Yeah, that was, I mean, to me that was really well ridden. If I was to do the course, I'd try and do that as well. Jump, give a little bit of space so you can ride into the double. Then it makes it easier for the oxer at the back pole.
Well, just going to finish on the 4 there, 85.80 for Eugenio Garza and Victor Finn DHZ, just dropping that one pole at the vertical. See if we can get, didn't quite get the shot of what happened there, but either way, it's just going to be 4 on the board for the Mexican rider. Daniel Coyle coming into view. Ariel Grange owned Legacy, so Canadian owned, Irish ridden, and this is the 12-year-old by Chippendales Edwards. The horse he rode at the European Championships last year at Riesenbeck, was placed in several of the 5-star Grand Prix in Wellington, Florida this year as well. This is one I would expect to come out of the pack here, Sam.
Yeah, this is a really, really good horse, and obviously Daniel's an experienced rider. I actually remember when Daniel first came to Canada and started riding with Lothlorien, and just kind of took the scene by storm. But this is a very, very classy animal. I mean, I love this horse. I love watching this pair go. It's always just such a treat.
Again, nicely ridden as they landed over the wall. Why is it that, you know, if you ride a wall now on its own, you know, most riders can cope with that. It's a bit of an old-fashioned fence in the sense it's something big to ride up, but it's used now more in the sense that it will be put as part of related distance like that. It's a variation, little feather-light fence after it, and a big solid wall before it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's one of those things that, you know, sometimes after you jump the wall, horses can get a little bit ahead of themselves. So by putting the plank after the wall is a little bit of a trick from the course designer. Also, if the wall is fully solid and the plank after that has, you know, is quite airy, there's a lot of space in between. So that's another thing. There's another clear.
It is Daniel Coyle, not unexpectedly produces the clear 84.29. Look at them over that.
Yeah, I mean, you just this mare, you give her a little bit of space and she'll jump over the standards. I mean, it's the same nearly every single time they come out. It's just such, you know, our terms, you call this a freak of nature.
Yeah.
Like a complete freak of nature. such a good horse, such a good pair, and Daniel just puts her to the right spot, and she can jump well.
Clear out number 6 of today's Major League Show Jumping 5-star Grand Prix here. Nalnasa Igor van der Wittemore for the Egyptian rider. Again, this has been happy hunting ground for him. The horse owned by the Evergate Stables. 14 years of age now by Cooper van der Heffing. And for Niall, win earlier on this week as well in the big jump-off class. Back on to Friday. I think it will start to lose track of the days after a while.
Yeah, of course. this is a great horse. Obviously, his Olympic mount. You know, just such a fun pair, and if they get in the jump off, you better watch out because they're absolutely lethal. The speed in which they can go around is unbelievable. It's so cool. You know, you have a horse that has so much scope, so much talent, but at the same time, you put him in a jump off, and he's just as fast as any speed horse that you could have as well. So to have the combination of scope, careful, and speed, it's very, very tough to beat when they get into that second round. Obviously, Niall, I think we should talk a little bit about the development of the Jumper app.
Yes.
It's very, very cool. If you guys haven't checked it out, go to the App Store, JUMPR, Show Jumping. And, you know, just super cool that he's developed this app where you can see statistics and analyze all the rounds and horses. So if you haven't seen that already, check it out.
Check it out. It's where we're getting a few of those stats from, like we talked about a little bit earlier on. And Niall, just
on,
again,
Igor.
holding on there. One more fence to go.
On,
time is easy. Go on. One more fence.
There we go.
Here's
a light rub on the last, but leaves it up.
As a little look at the last fence on the way over it, but it is on the clear there for Niall. So gives us clear round number 7 of this Grand Prix so far. But again, you know, look confident. It's the way they came over the wall there, and I guess you know, I'm just asking you as a rider here. You know, you have to reach a point where you trust there at the plank and say, we're in the right spot, here we go.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said a few times before, to me, if you're going to ride the plank, no matter what height fence you jump, you have to get a little bit more space than the normal vertical. The majority of planks usually come down with the front end of the horse because usually the rider will put the horse too deep and then they can't get out of the way fast enough. So it's always very, very important and vital that you just give a little bit of space, and it allows the horse to jump much, much easier.
Shane Sweetenham, James Can Cruz, a much talked about horse this season, a 9-year-old Irish bred by Cannon, out of CSF Telecruise, came from Francis Connors of Ireland. Shane, who's ridden right up to Olympic level for the Irish, a European gold medalist for Ireland as well. But this is a newer horse for the Gizmo partners that those of us that were down in Florida this year saw this horse in action, and it was one that was much talked about. I mean, Sam, you've seen this possibly a few times now. What have you made of it?
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching this horse live in the first 5-star Grand Prix. I believe this horse is only 8 years old, which is unbelievable. I mean, just to watch the sheer power and scope that this horse has is incredible. You know, Shane is obviously an unbelievable rider. He's his students as well with Tanner Karak and Lacey Gilbertson, and you know the list goes on, just accomplished in all parts of the sport. So for him to have this nice young horse, it's really, really good to know and fun to watch that he will develop it in the proper way, and I think you'll see this horse jump very, very big rounds in the future.
Absolutely. I mean, bearing in mind this year is the first year this horse has jumped into FEI classes. It is 9 from that point of view. For this Irish bred horse, but say first year it's been jumping into FEI, and I'm already seeing a lot of single digits through there in terms of results. Going to be certainly one to watch still on the clear at the moment. And again, you see them come out that double there. I mean, just gives it loads of space.
No, it's incredible. Yeah, pardon me on the age. I mean, even at 9 years old, it's still just such a cool horse. When you watch this horse, you'd think that this horse is much older than 9. Like you look, you watch, you see it's okay. This is an experienced 13 or 14, you know, winning 5-star Grand Prix horse, and I think that Shane's going to try and keep this one for as long as he can, because this is some kind of animal.
Absolutely. I mean, you're going to have your eye on everything from Paris 2024 to all the
for sure
the 5 stars and everything else in between, aren't you? Absolutely.
Time is on their side.
Absolutely, which is great. Ken Farrington, with a horse that's got a long history behind it now, but is still picking off those wins as well neatly. It is Gazelle for Kent Farrington, owned by Robin Parsky. And for Kent, Olympic silver medalist in 2016, World Championship bronze medalist as well. More Grand Prix wins than I can go and add up in the next 10 seconds. But for him, and including with this horse, because he was Aachen Grand Prix winners together with this pair, and it's been a fabulous pair. It'll be very interesting to see how they handle this. But this horse, 16 years of age now, but she certainly knows how to do the job, and so does he.
To me, I mean, this is just a pair that's, again, always fun to watch. Anytime you get a winner of Aachen or a major like that, you always just turn your head and watch. You have to. And to see Gazelle and Kent in this ring in fine form is just such a pleasure and such a privilege, you know. To me, people say sometimes people say, oh, I don't want to purchase a horse that's, you know, 15 or 16 years old. But to me, this horse is, you know, nearly still in her prime.
Yeah.
I mean, you watch her jump through there about as easy as any other horse, and so she's so experienced, she knows exactly what she needs to do. So just such a cool combination. It's just so fun to watch, and when I see this, it almost gives me goosebumps.
Kent Farrington Gazelle looking to join alongside those well-established stars like BC Man and Breitling LS into the jump off here.
Come on, Gazelle. There you go. Just so experienced.
She knows where to put her feet.
There we go.
Yeah. 81-41, no trouble for time as well. We've had 4 on the bounce in terms of clear, but 4 very strong combinations coming out of there. Gives us the 9th clear round. Daniel Coyle, Niall Nasser, Shane Sweet, and now Kent Farrington following up there. But you know, that is the kind of result you'd expect out of that group.
Yeah, I mean, the last sort of 10 riders in this class have, I mean, they're some of the top riders in the world, as are most other riders in this class. But you know, you're really seeing just unbelievable combinations shining through. I mean, like I said, you can never count out a winner of Aachen. You can never count out a winner of this 5-star, that 5-star, and regardless, even if it's a super experienced rider and they have a green horse, you also can't count them out. You know, anybody really has a chance to go clear. So it's fun to see these horses
well,
go.
Should we not count out this one either, because it's Paul O'Shea and Chancellor S, 5-star Grand Prix winners in Monterey last year as well. They then won the Captive 1 final in Wellington, Florida this year. And again, she's a little bit more, you know, in the age category. She's 13 years of age. She's up in her prime now. The Hanoveri mare by Chaco Blue, owned by Niall Carey in the Trelawney farm. But she's really found her feet in the last 12 months as well, hasn't she?
Yeah, certainly. And you know, there's some horses that they don't even start to jump their very best until they're 12, 13, or 14 years old. So to me, like Paul O'Shea, you know, he's one of my favorite riders, one of the nicest people. I love watching him school the horse. To me, he's a true horseman.
Yeah.
So for him to get this horse with the help of, obviously, with Niall Carey and the whole entire team at Trelawney, if you watch this horse 12 months ago versus now, it's completely different. And the way that they've got this horse, you know, feeling so confident and so good. Now all of a sudden, like we said, after that 5-star Grand Prix win in Monterey, this is one that you can never ever count out of the race.
She's sort of gone up a gear, and it's like the confidence between them, as you say. And I mean, she's sort of been a little bit of a late bloomer in terms of what you're doing. I mean, bearing in mind she's also come through what was an interrupted, you know, couple of seasons in the sporting world as well.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, and Paul just gives a great ride every time. Such a confidence-building ride for these horses. As you see, another clear round, and again, this is going to be. Oh, a shoe just popped off after the last fence, but this is going to be an incredible jump off. This is going to be one that's going to be fun to watch.
It's going to be fun to watch.
So fun to watch.
Thankfully, it's dry and bright. It's not been for some of the days here this week. They're just going to go shoe hunting down there. Come on, Cinderella, you can find it. They're down in front of us. I can see arms out. They're just scanning it down to where it is. And they will have it, I'm sure, in a second. There, we got it. You can't see that, we can. That's why I'm giving you the radio commentary of it. Daniel Blumen, Ubeluk, for the Over-the-Top Stables and Blue Star Investments. And for Daniel, this has been one that's coming through again on the younger side, getting a little bit more experience last year as well, with the ride here for Daniel. Daniel, of course, leading little introduction into the top level, having ridden again right through the top 5-star Grand Prix winner himself. And I mean, he's got 3 or 4 very good horses to be going to now, hasn't he?
Yeah, of course. Daniel, there's nothing short of experience with Daniel as well. And this horse, again, already a 5-star Grand Prix winner.
Yeah.
This is another pair I love watching. As you can probably tell, I like watching most of the riders in this class.
But that's how you learn as well. I mean,
For sure.
you know, although you might not sound it, I mean, you're only 20, but you know, you spent your whole life watching these, and that's how you learn.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you have to watch, you have to learn, you have to watch how riders produce young horses, how they ride their older horses. As you can see, this one, obviously a 5-star Grand Prix winner,
yeah,
but you know, still green in most eyes, because, like I said, this horse is not 13 or 14. He's still young. So
and won that Grand Prix at Angelstone last year at the age of 9.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the biggest thing is some horses when they're 9 years old, you can have a ton of success really fast, and some horses don't find their stride until they're a little bit older.
Absolutely, you can take them all. Like Big Star winning a gold medal at the Olympic Games at the age of 9 was a little bit of an exception from that point of view, and then going on to win another one 4 years later.
Exactly. So that doesn't usually happen, but like we've kind of mentioned before, I think that some horses find their stride later, some horses find it earlier, and some just have it from the very beginning.
That's going to lead me in very nicely to our next rider, but let's just see Daniel there. Just unfortunately has the plank down, just got a little bit forward there as they came through that line.
Yeah, it's too bad. I mean, obviously our streak of clear rounds sort of ended there, but I think Daniel's still going to be happy with the performance of his horse, because at the end of the day, you know, he is still a young horse, and Daniel's going to know exactly what to do to produce that clear round next time.
Why was that a link? It's a perfect link into Connor Swale, because you mentioned horses coming into their prime later on. Connor, at the tender age of 50, is now up to the world number 5 and at the highest point in his career. And I mean, he's as fit as a fiddle at the moment too. I mean, he's been really working on his own fitness. He's got a great group of horses around him as well, and just has kept, once he's got on that streak, and now he's got himself and worked hard to get himself that string around him, he's just been having win after win after win. And that's no coincidence, that's hard work.
Yeah, of course, that's hard work, and watching Connor go around is, you know, I try and emulate him with my riding. He's very, very cool to watch. He's like a magician on the back of a horse. And obviously this horse, Count Me In, already jumped big classes with the previous rider, Beth Underhill from Canada. Going to Connor and continuing to have success at the top level of the sport is just so cool. You know, these two really match each other. That's too bad about the plank there.
Yeah, Connor with a win behind him already this week, and a little bit earlier on today as well. Was on this horse at the World Cup finals back a few weeks ago in Leipzig too.
Yeah, this is a great pair. I think Connor and this horse really found their stride last year together. It did not take long for them to you know, just sort of mesh together. So I think that, you know, he's having a good round. I'm hoping that he's happy with this, and it looks like the horse. It's too bad about the plank, but the horse is jumping around this course really easily.
Yeah.
You know, there's nowhere where you hold your breath. There's nowhere where the horse looks like he's even trying, really. It's just such an athletic horse.
Yeah, it's just going to be the 4 faults 85-76 for Connor Swale and Count Me In here at the wall.
And there's that bogey jump again with the plank. I mean, you see the horse jumps up nicely in front and just barely taps on the top behind, and it falls down.
And you'd have said just watching him over the wall, that looked pretty spot on. I mean, they didn't look anything wrong with that.
Exactly. And sometimes horses can misread that plank and how small it is and how delicate on top. So that's really too bad. That would have been a nice one to add to the jump off, but you know, at the end of the day, you can only ask for so much.
And interesting, I mean, and when I walked down to that walking the course, it's a little black plank on there behind actually the stands with the black T-Birds banners on there, dark banners behind. And actually, when you first looked up, looked up and went, well, where's the top of the fence?
Yeah, exactly. Course designers take absolutely everything into account when they build courses. I mean, they're looking at things outside of the ring, inside of the ring, natural obstacles, man-made obstacles. So there's a lot of thought that went into the placement of that jump. So to anybody that thinks they just throw the jumps at random jumps up everywhere, you know, they really don't. There is thought that gets put into the placement of every single fence, every combination, the colors that are used, the planks that are used, the rails that are used, how heavy, how deep the cups are. It's a very, very difficult job, and that's why these course designers are so good. And they come to the shows, and it takes so much to get a course designer that really, really builds a nice course every single time.
Absolutely. Well, Peter Grant has been certainly doing that. Built some big tracks down in Mexico a few weeks ago in Mexico City, and also has previously in Calgary at Spruce Meadows. I think we've just got the one left to come. Just waiting a moment to see that. Should be Bliss Here's and Antidote de Mars, as you can see for the graphic on the screen. Gives me a chance just for a moment to say, Sam, we've got 10 clears so far. I mean, I usually ask, which way is this going to go? I think it's pretty hard to even contemplate that one.
It's so hard to even contemplate it. Before, when I walked the course, I actually predicted 10 clears, but I really do hope that Bliss jumps
just
clear.
Just pointing out I'm right.
No, but I really do hope that Bliss jumps clear on Antidote. I mean, that's always one that's fun to watch in the jump off, and yeah, I always wish the best for every rider. So it's especially not being in the class today, it's really nice to be able to root for everyone.
Gives me a quick chance to ask about you, because I mean, we've seen you this week. For those who've been watching all the classes here, you've got some new horses into the string as well.
Yeah, I actually have 3 new horses with me, 2 9-year-olds and an 8-year-old, and all of them made a debut in their different levels. I mean, I just had great chances to see what they really could do. I had a great round earlier this week with my young 8-year-old stallion. He placed. He was top 4 in the 2-star welcome, and that was his first ranking class with me. And then I got to jump the team event with Dreaming Blue, and that was his first meter 50. And actually, he jumped his first meter 45 with me the day before. So all things considered, he's just been such a superstar this week. And of course, my new mare that I have really, really high hopes for. Instead of jumping the Grand Prix today, I went and jumped the meter 50.
Yeah.
I had a little bit of an unlucky rail midway through the course, but I couldn't be happier with how the horse jumped. And it's fun to me. I came in this week having no expectations with young horses and stuff, and then next week I'll bring out my more experienced ones, and you'll see the more experienced ones through the later half of the season.
Which is the young one we want to keep a real eye on?
I think you want to keep an eye on my mare Nalu Quality.
That's what I thought.
that's definitely the scopiest, most athletic horse I think I've ever ridden, in terms of just pure power and pure strength. I mean, she's very, very cool. She's extremely hot and tries to buck me off in the schooling area constantly. So it's a little bit difficult, but she is just such a good horse, and I'm really excited for that one in the future.
Absolutely. Well, Bliss Here's coming. She just the horse has just lost a shoe, so they were just putting a shoe back on, and here she comes. Antidote de Mars, leading little introduction for this 12-year-old for the Bridgeside Farms of Las Vegas, Nevada. The stallion by De Montesemi was certainly one of the talking horses over the last couple of seasons, in the sense that this is the one a lot were looking at. This is the one they all wanted to take home. She's just putting up her hand, and we haven't started the countdown yet, so that's fine. But we talked about this horse a lot. They finished on the podiums on the 5-star in San Miguel, and several times into Florida in the big classes as well. But Sam, why is this horse so nice, so good? What makes you all look at it and go, oh, I'd quite like that?
I actually had the privilege in California this last year. I'm pretty good friends with Bliss, so she actually let me ride him, which was an absolute treat. I got to flat him a little bit, and when I tell you, this horse he's like a magic pony. I mean, you just oh no, that's too bad. But that isn't a reflection of the horse and rider. But he's so fun to ride. He's just got such a great blood and attitude. Some horses you can look in the eyes and you can tell that they're winners.
Yeah.
And this one is certainly that. And as you know, Bliss has had him for some time. I remember watching them when he was an 8-year-old, and this combination has just grown together. And there's really, really just they're weapons at the top of the sport. They're so hard to beat when they're on it.
Just that first fence coming down, but again, like horse lost a shoe, that can you get an interrupted warm-up there. Isn't always ideal, is it?
It's so tough. I mean, I've definitely had horses lose shoes in the warm-up ring multiple times, and it makes it very easy, very, very difficult, because the horse can feel uneasy once you put the shoe back on. It's like if you were to tie both of your running shoes, if one running shoe falls off and then you put the other one back on, and tie it too tight or tie it too loose, you can really feel different. So unfortunately, I think maybe that could be a reflection today of the round. But again, this is a great horse and rider combination.
Yeah, it is going to be the 10 clears. Unfortunately, not to be this time for Antidote de Mars and for Bliss. Here's just coming to the last. There we go, and that will finish off their round. Unfortunately, it's going to be a score of 20 this time, which, as you say, is very much out of character for those two.
Yeah, completely. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen that happen with this horse. But again, not every horse and rider combination is going to win every single day. You know, it's this sport is so difficult because you could have the Olympic gold medalist come out and have 3 down, and you could have a horse that maybe has never won a class in its life go and win a 5-star Grand Prix. So you never know what to expect. Some things will surprise you, some things will seem quite normal, but at the end of the day, they're horses. They feel things too. You know, everybody has their days. So unfortunately, that maybe wasn't the best for Bliss in her score, but I think that she'll come back and she could win next week just as easily as anyone else.
Absolutely. We're going to take a break for around 6 minutes time, and we're going to hear from some of our sponsors here as well. And then I'll give you a rundown of what to expect. But 10 into the jump off here for this 5-star Grand Prix.
Electricity, natural gas, retail energy, and ports and transportation to homes, businesses, and communities around the world. Find out more at atco.com. Integrity, caring, agility, collaboration. Every day, our people go to work delivering inspired solutions in structures and logistics, electricity, natural gas, retail energy, and ports and transportation to homes, businesses, and communities around the world. Find out more at atco.com.
Alden Brown is a proud sponsor of Thunderbird Show Park. Through our long-standing partnership with Thunderbird, we have seen firsthand the incredible impact of their events for competitors, spectators, and the community as a whole. At Alden Brown, we invest in our clients' futures and in the communities where our clients and team members live and work. Community involvement is in our firm's DNA. It was part of our founder's vision nearly 100 years ago and remains a core value of Alden Brown today. Our team members are passionate about supporting their communities, and they give back in a variety of ways. As a firm, we are proud to partner with organizations like Thunderbird Show Park that share our commitment to making an impact on our community now and for generations.
I'm Danielle Toronto, and we are customers of Marshall and Sterling. They have been amazing for us, for our business. They take care of our farm, our horses, our cars. It's basically one-stop shopping for us.
I'm Jimmy Turano. You know, unfortunately, we've actually had to really use Marshall and Sterling for horse death, and I have to say that Marshall and Sterling has been an amazing company. They have taken care of things. It's been worry-free. The person we deal with, Missy, she takes it all upon herself. Once we go to her with the claim, she does it all for us. And I have to say, since we've been with Marshall and Sterling, I just can't think of going anywhere else. I put all my trust, all my faith in them.
When every second counts, the surface matters. Premier Equestrian features Pro-Tex footing product and auto sport base mats. Mats absorb up to 40% of the concussion. Pro-Tex provides maximum stability. Premier Equestrian is the official footing partner of Major League Show Jumping. Contact us about your arena at premierequestrian.com.
The beauty, power, and elegance of warm blood horses is no accident. A history of carefully crafted breeding practices that walk the delicate line of art and science has created a horse that is as strong as it is graceful, so that it may successfully compete at the most elite level in equine sports. Breeders can access an American Stallion station that provides both fresh chilled and frozen semen options with full transparency on semen quality. Set on 800 acres of Lexington, Kentucky bluegrass, Spy Coast Farm is revolutionizing the breeding practices of warm blood horses. World-renowned stallions with proven bloodlines that have successfully competed at the top level of international Grand Prix sport are collected by a resident veterinarian and processed promptly for shipment to a domestic breeder for a timely insemination of their ovulating mare. The experts at Spy Coast Farm are determined to improve your U.S. breeding options by taking the guesswork out of semen quality.
Well, welcome back for the jump-off of the five-star Grand Prix here from Thunderbird. Just short of $215,000 in the prize fund for this class, and we are nearly set to go. 10 going into the jump-off. Let's run down those for you. You're going to see Patrizio Pascal and Babel. You've got Jordan Coyle, Ariso, Nick Delajoyo, Cornets, Cambridge, BZ Mann, Breitling LS, Vanessa Mannix, Kingston, Daniel Coyle and Legacy, Nal Nassar and Igor van de Vitemore, Shane Sweetnam, James Can Cruz, Kent Farrington, Gazelle, Paul O'Shea and Chancellor S will complete the lineup of the 10. So, shortened course for this, as you would expect for the jump off, and it's going to look like this. We're going to start over fence 1. Okay, we're not going to be too original in the first couple. 1 and 2, then we really start to change it around, because after that it is 8C. New fence in the centre of the course, that's the paintbrushes by the looks of it at fence 15. New fence 16 as well at the Atco Oxa. A rollback then to what was the Major League double. Still a double with 12A and B, and instead of heading for the last, you're going all the way up the arena to what was the plank, but now it's 2 planks. You think that sounds horrible, it isn't too bad. The 2 planks are in the middle, there's a pole on top this time, so you can take a long run at that. Sam Walker is alongside me, and Sam, we've been watching the action unfold in the first round. You've correctly predicted 10 clears, and if anybody doubts you, they can go and watch the Instagram rundown of you walking the course a little bit earlier on for us as well. Long run to the last.
Yeah, long run to the last. That's my favorite part in the jump off. I love seeing the horses run as fast as they can, and the riders taking risks. Absolutely. That is going to be the most exciting part of the jump-off, in my opinion.
Yeah, it certainly is. Well, what do you expect out of this jump-off? Because, I mean, you know, as I say, it's quite a bit of a change around. That turn back to 8C is going to make things very interesting indeed.
Yeah, it certainly is. Obviously, you can see that the plank was, like you said before, was replaced by a rail on top now. We saw that plank fall quite a bit, so now the riders can be a bit more aggressive at that. I think this course designer, you know, he really wants the riders to be aggressive here. He wants to see a fast jump off. These horses are jumping just fantastic off of the field here at Thunderbird, and you know, to have the course be a little bit more spread out, a little bit so you can have a real gallop at the jumps. That's what to me, that's my favorite part of show jumping. You know, that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. Another favorite part is hearing them getting the crowd going over there as well. A little bit of warm-up act going on in front of the stands to get them revved up too. Canadians loving their show jumping.
Canadians love show jumping, and you know, at the end of the day, we're all here because we love the horses. So it's really fun to see the crowd coming out. We see quite a few people in the stands. I would reckon even for the Nations Cup next week is going to be jam-packed. But nonetheless, regardless, it is fun to see everybody out here. For the team event that we had last afternoon, was really exciting. We had nearly a full crowd as well, so I think it's just great that the public wants to come out. They want to see the show jumping, they want to see the horses, and they want to see the riders compete, and I think that's what they're going to get this afternoon.
They're certainly going to get good competition. Let's go into it. Patricia Pascal and Babel to start us off. Flew round to win a top-class down in Mexico City a few weeks ago. Can they do that once again? We will see. Yeah, we're not going to put our money anywhere on this. We're just going to let it unfold.
We're going to let it unfold. I mean, I couldn't put my finger down on one pair. Obviously, you could do a statistical look at it and say, okay, maybe this pair has a higher percentage chance of winning the class at this height, but again, it could be anybody's day. The horses all jumped amazing. The riders are fast in the jump off. The horses are fast in the jump off. I wouldn't be surprised if we got actually quite a few double clears, and of those double clears, a really fast winner.
Absolutely. Okay, well, it's designed for speed. We will see. So 1, 2, 8C, 15, 16, 12 A and B, and 7 as the last. 56 seconds time allowed. Patricia Pascal of Mexico to start us off. Not an easy one going first, but I've talked to a lot of riders about this, about you know, the position you go in the jump off, and actually, interestingly, the response most of the time is, I go in and do what I do.
Yep, it's true. I would agree. It doesn't really matter if you go first or if you go last. Obviously, if you go in the last position, it is nice to know what you need to do to win, so you don't run the wheels off your horse for no reason. Obviously, all these riders super experienced in the jump off. You know, I think each rider knows what the maximum throttle they can go on their horse is, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're really gonna push it to the limit today. We can already see Patricio, super experienced horse, Babel, jump clear in the biggest Grand Prix in the world already. 1, 2, and rolling back on 8B is already super fast. So, or 8C, my apologies.
Now this new fence in the centre. Back to the Oxer here at the Atco fence. New addition on course as well. And that's the danger. You can just get very forward running down here. And here, this double's going to be interesting because it's quite short in here. This is going to get quite tight for some to then let them go up here.
Yeah, for sure. I think 16, it's really too bad that he had that down. Just clip that front bar there. It's very difficult because, you know, you jump 16 on after a tight rollback to the vertical, and the horses can sometimes get a little bit out in front of you, as you can see, just pulling the back legs through the front rail. A little bit too much momentum there, needed to jump just a bit higher, but you know, that was a good round by Patricio. There's no doubt about that. And this horse, the combination, they've jumped clear in so many big classes. So again, it's not a surprise that they really went for it.
Absolutely. Gives us a little bit of gauge of time as well. 49.28 from the first out. Jordan Coyle and Ariso for the Land Farm of New Jersey, the 11-year-old by Casal. As I say, go back to his win of the 5-star at the Desert Horse Park in Thurman of last year, the last stage of the Major League Jumping to finish off the season. Wins for him in the last few weeks as well at Old Salem Farm up in New York. And well, I say, we've got to a stage, this is such a wide open jump off, I think, with a quality in it, but this is one can really go for it and manufacture a big round out of this, can't they?
Yeah, I mean, just the sheer size stride that they have. I mean, Jordan's got this horse turning now on a dime. It used to be a little bit difficult to turn, but as you can see, he's just absolutely wheeling around the jump off, going super fast, all out. Again, already won the 5-star Grand Prix at the last leg of the Major League Show Jumping last year, and coming out here at the first leg this year and giving it their all. It's just so cool to watch. Such scope and stride on this horse. Get up, and he's going to give it a keep going, keep going, keep going.
He's just got to balance it with not taking it
There
out.
you go.
They get down into it, and 45.89. It is clear there for Jordan Coyle. I mean, it's an interesting horse because it's sort of just before a fence will sort of go down and then get up.
Yeah, it definitely uses the whole body to the jump. You know, you can see this horse jumps in such great form, has good technique, and Jordan's a very strong rider, so he can hold the horse up in front of him, give the horse a little bit of space at the verticals and the oxers, and then the horse just has the scope to power through. And it's very cool to see. You know, that's a big horse. He's long, he's tall, and Jordan just can get him to run as fast as he can and then come right back to him when he needs to.
And it was interesting, he came over the Atco fence, he went a little bit to the left there to be able to make that wider turn, just give himself a little bit of space back to that double. So instead of trying to get, say, to the right-hand side and really trying to cut it tight, that wasn't going to suit them, but they could keep momentum up. Let's pick it up then with our next, of course, and that is out there right now, and it's Beezy Madden and Breitling LS.
That was really tight there. You see, that's the thing, is this jump off is great because it's got to be won on stride length, but also how tight your turns are. And Beezy is just a master of, you know, going fast and executing tight turns perfectly, as you can see already. From 8C over to the new vertical 15 back to 16, the Atco. Oh, that is really uncharacteristic of this pair.
Coming back to this one.
Yeah, I think maybe we just turned back on that double, and maybe Breitling just got a little bit surprised that it was coming up so quickly. But again, you see she just made a nice little circle, comes back, jumps the Major League double like nothing has happened. Just a great experienced horse, and then canters down to the last and finishes the round on a positive note. Absolutely.
60.55. Those looking for Nick Delajoyo, he's going to be coming in a couple of horses' time. That's just gone slightly out of order for that one, I'm assuming. Probably lost a shoe as well. And, well, Beezy Man, Breitling LS, to the delight of the crowd, regardless of what the score. They love seeing her here in Canada and anywhere over the world. She's an absolute legend. So it is Jordan Cole leading with Ariso 45.89. So we're going to head in the direction of Vanessa Mannix now. I'm getting slightly thrown by the cheers and the literal screams coming from to the side of me from the grandstands there. And for this lady that finished second in the World Cup qualifier here back in September last year, this newer combination into the top flight, she's really settled well into that first round. And Sam, I mean, this is going to be really where they test themselves, because they haven't really fought under this kind of pressure before.
No, of course, but I love the way that Vanessa caught the first jump. She was right up to pace. The horse was just bucking and playing everything at the start of the round, but once he sort of, you know, picks up the pace and finds that first jump, it's all business from there. And as you can see, already jumping the first 4 jumps, really, really nice. Cantering over. I don't know if Vanessa's going full blast today because this is a newer combination, but regardless, a double clear in a 5-star Grand Prix would be amazing. Yeah. So let's hope they can do that.
Yeah, not going to make Jordan Coyle's time, but just unfortunately having that first part down opens up the range to then make that turn off to the left here. But I think whatever happens, she can be pretty happy with that one.
Yeah, she's going to be very, very happy. That's just a really unfortunate rail that came down there. Vanessa, she's always just, such a good rider, excellent horsewoman, and it's really fun to see them out here sort of nearly on home turf. I mean, Canadian soil. And I'm sure she'll be excited to bring that one back home to Calgary in a couple weeks.
And so Daniel Coyle, Ariel Grange's legacy, his European Championship ride. It's Jordan Coyle setting the pace so far.
I wouldn't be surprised if he gives his brother a run for his money.
Exactly.
I think they're both highly, highly competitive. I'm sure that started at childhood. And then
I don't think there's any conceding, put it that way. There's no sort of, okay, bro, you have today. That's not on the cards.
No, certainly not. And they both really, really just want to win. So let's see what Daniel can do. Already you can see he started with a bit of a different strategy, actually coming off the left lead to the first jump. Allows him to get inside all the way through to the second fence in the jump off. That was really, really smooth, and that's the first time we've seen that. You saw Jordan, he was trying to win on the foot speed. Daniel's really trying to win on the turns here. So there's, two ways that you can do this, and I think that both riders are just going to use what they have to their advantage.
And actually came over that center line there. Just again, each of those two fences just nipped into the real tight turn of them, and this is going to be the one he needs to pull off.
Right. Come on, Legacy. There you go. And as you can see, oh, look at that one, just putting the nose down and going for it.
45.89 to beat. Has he got enough? I'm not sure. It is going to be 46.81. He's a second back.
Just missed it. I mean, listen, there's definitely two ways to go about this jump off. You saw he went for the tight turns, executed them all very, very well. Jordan went for the foot speed, and with a big horse and a big ring like this, foot speed is usually going to win.
Yeah.
If we're in a tight ring, if we're in a ring such as, when we go to Angelstone later this summer, or a tight ring, not a tight ring, but a sand arena like Thermal, that's where you're going to, maybe that round would win with the turns, but because there's so much space out here, the horse with the bigger stride covers more ground quickly.
On to Nick de la Joya, as I said, he was due to go a little bit earlier on. Cornet's Cambridge for the Berry Group, the 10-year-old by Belou de Reventon. So this horse, of course, that was second in the Aachen Grand Prix last year with Brian Maugrain, has been a real star. The next generation being real stars as well. Winners in Wellington this year too. Now for them, let's see what they can do. And again, Sam, I mean, this pairing together, they were coming through well last year and really matured and were able to get into the heat of battle in Florida this year, and this will help them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they've already got a big win under their belt with the Grand Prix in Florida, and as you can see, Nick is not letting off the gas right here. So this is sort of more how I would ride the jump off. I would try and win it on the foot speed, I think. Nice and careful over the vertical. See if you can maintain the pace all the way to the Atco Oxer.
Ooh, no.
Just gets a little bit close to the front rail. Horse has to set the feet and just doesn't get off the ground quite fast enough. But regardless, this is still a very, very quick round. And
yeah,
that's the other way that you can look at it. Let's see him come to the last. So he finishes on the 4 faults there. I mean, he's got a very fast time, and you can see that it puts him into 3rd place.
Yeah.
Now, if you think about it, horses that have one down, sometimes the riders will lay off.
Yeah.
And as you can see, Nick kept going, and that actually still maintains 3rd place for him. So
3rd place in a 5-star Grand Prix is a lot of money.
Exactly. It can be the difference between $10, $15, $20,000 even, depending on the class. So, okay, I think we're going to see more clear rounds, but that could change. That could change a 3rd place from a 6th place. Even it's a big difference.
As you say, you walk away with $10,000 or $15,000 more than you might have done from that point of view.
Exactly.
Nick de la Joya there going on to the 4 faults. Still got a good group yet to come. Niall Nassar, Shane Sweetnam, Kent Farrington, and Paul O'Shea still to fire at Jordan Coyle, who's at the top at the moment with a Riso 45.89 at this point. And it'll be Niall Nassar now. Igor van der Wittemore for the Evergate Stables. This now 14-year-old by Cooper van der Heffing. And again, these two needing no experience here. And it's a horse that's light and fast.
Yeah, of course. I mean, coming off a win earlier this week with Igor, Niall's obviously he's a fantastic rider. But again, the horse covers so much ground so quickly.
Look at him go.
It's unbelievable. I said in the first round, it's going to be one to watch in the jump off. And as you can see already, for the first 3 jumps, they're just unbelievable fast. Like the sheer foot speed is, I can't convey it. You can't see it so well on the live stream.
This is equine Usain Bolt, basically.
Literally, it is. This is such a fast horse, and scopy and careful. It's in light, everything you want in a good show jumper.
Wheel spins away from the Atco fence. This is where they've got to get it right. on the way out. One more fence from home. He's got a chance. He's just got to keep the nose down and keep going. Shoulders forward. Gets there. Is it going to be enough? Would you believe 46.56? It's not. It's second. It's second there for Nal Nassar and Igor. Just shows how fast Jordan Coyle was. I mean, we thought Jordan was fast, but I can't believe that that wasn't faster.
No, I genuinely can't believe that wasn't faster, because I've been up against Igor in jump-offs and gone as fast as I can, and I can't catch that one. So to see that Jordan is still nearly a second faster is
different streak.
It's incredible.
Yeah. Nal Nassar going in second on 46.56. Daniel Coyle now into third, 46.81. Nick De La Joya after that on the 4 fault. So there's top three all on the double clears, but within less than a second of each other. Let's see what Shane Sweetnam can do. The Gizmo partners at James Can Cruz. 9-year-old Irish-bred horse here. He's not going to be going in the same way that Niall did, because I mean there's more miles on the clock with Niles, right?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely don't think that he's going to take it easy, though.
No.
I mean, this horse is young. It's maybe not incredibly experienced at this level, but the only way to make a horse learn how to ride a jump off is by going faster and teaching them.
Yeah.
And Shane, like I said earlier, such a good teacher. That's really too bad. It's too bad that the horse didn't quite curl over, but that's what happens when you pick up the speed in this second round. Sometimes it can catch the horses a bit off guard.
But as you say, this is where you need to get the miles on the clock. And for him, you know, he's get some nice, efficient turns in there. So it's exactly what you're going to expect from a top rider like this. As you say, you do, and that was my point. You do it in different ways, don't you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you definitely have to give the horse a quicker ride in the second round because it's young. I mean, at the end of the day, the horse needs to learn how to become, you know, a winning Grand Prix horse, and to do that is by trying to win. So I think this pair is actually, they're going to win a lot of big classes together, and you know, just teaching this young horse the ropes sort of is going to be super important for the rest of their career.
2 left to come, but 2 that you certainly cannot relax on when they're going in the ring, because Jordan Coyle is in front at the moment, 45.89. Still Kent Farrington and Paul O'Shea to go. Kent Farrington and his well-proven 5-star winner, Gazelle. Gazelle, who's great at living up to that name as well, in terms of speed and flight.
Yeah. Now, again, Igor, one of the fastest horses in the world, and here's Kent on Gazelle, which is at one point, at least in their career, and still to this day, I think are possibly the fastest pair in the world in the Grand Prix. So
yeah,
they are not letting off the gas pedal. So let's see how fast he can do it in.
Gets the vertical, lands there in 16 seconds. Right across the centre. This is the really inside line for them. Gets himself square to it.
Gets a little rub over that vertical just on the hind end, but I think that's gonna be very good for Gazelle. She's a smart horse, and sometimes when they get a little bit of rub, they don't want to hit another one. So let's see.
This is where she finds her feet.
Oh, that's too bad.
So close, just coming down to the last, and he's eased off a little bit. And I think he'd have had the time. He just gets a flatten off to the finish, 47.07. If the double hadn't dropped,
I don't know.
He had a chance. I don't know. It would have been close though.
He would have had to make up nearly a second and a half from the double to the last fence, and okay, it's a long run, but that's a lot of time. That's a lot of time to make up, and it's really too bad that the last 2 fences ended up falling. But you know, Gazelle owes nothing to Kent, and you know, it goes both ways. So this pair is just, regardless, I think they go in the ring. Obviously, they want to win, but I bet Kent has a really good time riding that horse, just knowing that you have a horse that can win pretty much any Grand Prix in the world.
Yeah, well, another one does won major 5-star Grand Prix as well. And Paul O'Shea, Chancelloress. Last chance. Jordan Coyle leads, Nal Nassar second. Daniel Coyle in third. Monterey winners to take a run at this. As you say, she's really come into her own now.
Yeah, you know, I love this horse, and like I said, I really like Paul too. There's just such a great combination, good partnership here, and he's definitely giving it his all, and Chancelloress is as well. Wow, it's just such a fun partnership to watch.
Whatever happens, they're going to give it absolutely everything they've got here.
Of course, they have to. You have to. It's the Grand Prix. You have to go for the win.
Paul getting close to home. This is the danger, as we saw, for Kent and Gazelle. And it's get from here and run, 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 run. You've got a time of 45.89 to beat. They've got a chance. You can't hold back. Just hurdle it.
Oh.
Look at that. 46.98. Still wasn't going to be fast enough. Takes the final fence.
Like, that's so difficult. So difficult. I mean, Paul is just a veteran rider. He's won multiple Grand Prix, throughout every level of the sport. And to see that kind of pressure that is put on him, and he has to go full gas and still, is still not quite as fast as Jordan, just proves really how fast he was.
But the way he came to the last, I mean, that's the only way he was going to do it, wasn't he?
Yeah, of course.
He had to go for it.
He had to take the chance, and that rail, like we see, that puts him into 4th place, and I think that's where he's going to finish in this class. Whereas if he hadn't had the rail, I think it still would have been, maybe it would have been in 3rd place. Let's see the times right here.
Yeah, there we go.
So he would have been in 4th place still.
Yeah, there's the final scores. Paul O'Shea and going into 4th place, as you say, regardless, would have been heading there. 46.98. Daniel Coyle in 3rd place with Legacy. Nal Nasser in 2nd. A win for Jordan Coyle and Ariso for the Irish rider. Nick Tillajoyo finishes in 5th in the end with Cornets Cambridge. Patrizio Pascal, who led them out with Babel, finishing in 6th. Shane Sweetnam, James Cancruz also just on the 4. Good result for Vanessa Mannix. Good round for them on the 4 faults there on the inexperienced Kingston. That one coming together. Surprising 9 and 10, Kent Farrington and BZ Band, but they certainly gave it a go as well. Sam Walker, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.
Good luck for the rest of the season. We'll see you lots.
Of course. Thank you very much.
Sam, thank you. You've been fantastic. And we will be taking you into that presentation in a few moments' time, and also catching up with our winning rider too. He's going to be down with Hannah in a couple of minutes. But it's a win. Well done to Jordan Coyle and Ariso, victorious here at Thunderbird.
Let's go down to Hannah on field level for our interview with our winning rider.
An amazing performance. You led for quite a way there in the jump off. Did you think you could win this?
It felt quite fast actually, but there's a lot of good riders and horses coming after me, so they give me a sweat for sure.
And it's a horse that you've had for a couple of years now. It's one that you're really excited about though, and especially with this win, that must be so exciting for the future.
Yeah, he's a brilliant horse actually. He won the last one of these Grand Prix in California, and now he's won the first one, so it's going well.
Fantastic. And how did this horse find it in this arena, in this venue?
He obviously loved it. Yeah, it's a nice place this. I love coming here actually. I love the grass, and the horse obviously loves it too.
And are we going to be seeing more of Ariso on Major League Show Jumping this season?
Yeah, for sure, I'll follow it. I think it's a great addition to the show jumping. So yeah.
Well, which of the legs are you looking forward to next?
I like Mexico. They do a brilliant job there in Mexico also. So I look forward to going there.
Well, huge congratulations. Enjoy your celebrations.
Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Well, making their way in for the presentation is our leading lineup here for the Grand Prix of this Major League Show Jumping Week, part of 2 weeks of 5-star competition. For those that would like to join us next week as well, here at Thunderbird, it is Nations Cup week, and we will be Friday into the Grand Prix there, Sunday into the Nations Cup as well, and lots more besides. And of course, if you're following Major League, we're just going to take a little hiatus until August, and we will be back in Traverse City in the wonderful Great Lakes, that beautiful spot that we're all looking forward to returning to. And that will be where we are for the next stage of the tour. You can download the app, you can head to the website. That will give you all the information you need for this wonderful conclusion to Major League Show Jumping. And there are top 3 for the presentation. Daniel Coyle, Niall Nasser and Daniel Coyle. So 2 brothers up in the top 3.
On behalf of Thunderbird Show Park, we welcome to the field today Board Chair and CEO Jane Tidball, accompanied by President and Operations Director Chris Pack, and on behalf of Major League Show Jumping MLSJ founder Kian White.
And Jane Tidball to make the presentation alongside Chris Pack, and joined by Kian White of Major League Show Jumping. Thanks to our hosts here at the fabulous venue here at T-Bird, and they certainly are hosts indeed, fabulous hosts to us throughout. Grooves coming forward, and as they dismount, ready to head up onto the podium. There's the 2 brothers.
They will take their place under the 3rd place part of the pedestal, Daniel Coyle.
And stepping up into 3rd place, Daniel Coyle. And Legacy receiving congratulations from Jane Tidball, president of the event here at Thunderbird. Her family, such a wonderful driving force. Initially her parents, and then taking on the role herself. Chris Pack, director of operations there, and Kian White of Major League Jumping. Jane handing over the flowers.
Taking 2nd place today with his ride on Igor van de Wittemore, Niall Nassar.
Niall Nassar in 2nd with Igor van de Wittemore. 2nd spot for them. Still with Jordan Coyle, half a second plus ahead of the rest to win.
And taking the apex of the podium, Jordan Coyle.
Jordan Coyle at the top of the leaderboard. Very well done to him with Riso for the Elan Farm to take home the win here this afternoon at Thunderbird.
Now we will honor our champion, Jordan Coyle, as we ask everyone to please rise once again for the playing of the Irish national anthem.
And so, just before they get into full celebration, the anthem of our winning rider for Ireland. Boys looking armed. There goes the champagne. I saw the rest of the presentation party take a runner. They knew what was coming there. Champagne spray for our top 3. Well done to them. And what a cracking battle here. Super stuff from our top 3 there. Really fast jump off to finish off. And I'm delighted to say under blue skies here at Thunderbird. Drying conditions, and just some final photos of our top 3 in the Major League Here it is, all onto the same podium there. Daniel and Jordan Coyle, and joined by, of course, now Nasser as our leading three in the Grand Prix here this afternoon. Very well done to them. Thumbs up, of course, from us at home. Thank you very much for joining us. As I say, you can join us on the next stage of Major League Jumping, which is going to be at Traverse City in August, and we are going to be joining you for that, and of course the many other stages as well. 2 trips to Traverse City, another one in September. We're going to be back in Canada at Ottawa and also at Angelstone, so we're over towards Toronto as well. And keeping your map running, we're going to be heading down to Mexico, to San Miguel, and also to the Mexican stages in Monterrey before finally landing in California in the Desert Horse Park. Final lap of honor for our lineup here. But after a very good week of jumping, week 1 of competition here at Thunderbird, and we're a huge fan of this venue, huge fan of those involved. Thank you very, very much for hosting us, to Jane Tidball, to all the family, to the crew here, who are truly, truly exceptional, the friendliest venue you'll ever could find, and I'm delighted to say the sun has shone for them, because the sun has been shining out of their team all week, and thank you to them. But the spotlight, that's going to drop on Jordan Coyle, our winner of the Major League Grand Prix here this afternoon, as he takes a sweet round in front of our photographers and the crowd as well. It is very well done to our top 3. 2 for Ireland, 2 Coyles, and a Nassar to round it off. Jordan Coyle, the winner of the Major League Jumping Grand Prix here in Thunderbird. And for all of us on the Major League, it's next stop, Traverse City.
As they take their solo victory lap around, we congratulate them once again for taking home the top honors in our CSI5 Star T-Bird NOSJ Grand Prix. A big thank you to all of our competitors for providing an exciting afternoon of competition to close out the 2022 Canadian Premier. That will conclude our week here at Thunderbird Show Park, but we'll be back again sooner than you know it, starting on Wednesday for the Auckland Brown BC Open, featuring Longines FEI Jumping Nations Cup Canada. Major League Show Jumping will return to Traverse City, the Great Lakes Equestrian Festival, August 4th to 7th, in the continuation of that tour. In closing here today at Thunderbird Show Park, I'd like to thank our ground jury, Susan Mencken, Luiana Rivera, Daleen Payne, and Jan Blackall, our course designer, Peter Grant, and our great staff for all the hard work they put in to make these weeks possible for another successful event here at Thunderbird Show Park. As well, a big thank you to our competitors, and congratulations to everyone on a great week. Finally, thank you to our fans and community for coming out and sharing your days with us. Can't wait to do it all over again next week. Until then, we'll see you again next time.